everybody and welcome to this video lecture. My name is Rajni Kanal and I'm one of the PTE teachers here at the Best PTE Center. Today we are going to discuss about one of the very simple looking yet difficult sections in the reading part of PTE exam. Well, why I say this, it is simple and yet difficult is because you might think that, okay, I have a text right in front of me and I'll be given options for it and I just need to pick one of those options. Well, the difficulty lies here, and that is because of the cumulative time that has been assigned to the reading section in PTE. What I mean is, you will have an aggregate or a cumulative time of about 30 minutes, and within this time you need to complete all of the portions of reading section. And at this point, the reading multiple choice, choose multiple questions, multiple answers, single answers are going to be really hectic if you do not use proper tips and strategies. You will end up spending so much of time on it and you will be like, I cannot finish all of this part. So today we are going to discuss each and every element in this topic. This is how the question looks like. Okay. First of all, you will have a set of instructions. Right below it will be the text that you need to study. By the side, you will also have the question prompt and a list of options that you need to choose from. I hope you're very familiar with this format of reading multiple choice, choose multiple answers. And now let's move on to the scoring. Okay, how is it scored? Well, multiple choice, choose multiple answers in both the reading and listening sections has got negative marking. Why I say it a negative marking is because you will lose points and you will go to minus if you do not select the correct answer. For example, suppose a question has got two correct answers, A and B. If you choose both the options A and B, you will get 2 points for it. If you choose option A only or option B only, you will get partial mark, that is 1 point. You will not, your marks will not be deducted for not selecting the other answer. But if you select answer like A, B and also some other points like also answer C, at this point your marks will be deducted. So your marks will be 1 plus 1 minus 1, that is again 1. So this is how the scoring is done in multiple choice, choose multiple answers. And so what I recommend students to do is, if you're sure that okay, option A and B are correct, but I'm not pretty sure if option C is also correct, leave it. Just don't bother taking a risk and losing 1 more marks that you've already got. That's a really nice tip actually. Okay, I hope that works. Next, moving on. I would like to discuss how do we crack this kind of question. Well, the first thing you do is you understand the question prompt. Question prompt means the actual question you need to look for in the text. Here you can see which of the following statements about learning English can be supported by the text. Now that is your question prompt. Before starting any multiple choice, multiple answer questions, it is very important that you see the question prompt and understand it, because this will give you a hint. What are you actually looking for? Because obviously you don't want to read the whole text and get the whole thing inside you in the very 2 minutes that you're given. All that you can do is understand the question prompt and look for specific answers in the text. Well, the next tip is, before going to the next tip, I would like to also let you know some of the types of question prompts that you usually encounter in multiple choice, choose multiple answers. Here we go. The first type and the very common one is which of the following are true statements about keywords? Okay, which of the following are true statements about keywords? What a keyword means here is it could be anything, it could be the main part that the text is talking about, or it could be a minor aspect that has been mentioned in the passage. Which of the following are true statements? It means you need to choose the options that are true with regards to the keyword. And I have mentioned this type of question in the very beginning because most students think that, okay, anything that has been mentioned mentioned in the text should be true. But any time where the keyword has been mentioned, it means you need to look for answers that are true with respect to this keyword. It's not important that the option that has been mentioned exactly in the text will be true with respect to this particular keyword. I will come up with examples in a few more slides. The next one will be, which of the following statements are true? Now, in this question, you can obviously say, yeah, if there's any option that exactly resembles a line or a sentence in the text, you can choose it as your correct option. The third one says, which of the following statements are supported by the passage? Again, the same as the second time of the question. And the third, now the fourth, it's according to the author, the advantages or disadvantages of keywords are. Now here you need to be careful and understand what the author is actually talking about and what points he mentions as an advantage or a disadvantage, and then click it in, accordingly. Next, all of them are the properties of keyword except similar type of question here. The properties of keyword, the keyword could be, as I mentioned earlier, it could be anything, the main idea or any other topic that has been presented in the text. And you just need to note down the properties. So what you will do is when you see the text, you will go after the properties of this particular thing. There could be several other things mentioned in the passage, but you are not going to look after those. You are going to look after only the properties that are there with respect to this keyword here. All of them are true except, now this is a bit of twisted question, and what it actually means is, which of the following statements are false? So it's very important that you understand and analyze the type of question prompt. Next step you need to do is scan read the answer options with the question prompt in mind. What I mean here is, we will have a list of options, and especially in multiple choice, choose multiple answers where you need to find points like which of the following statements are true, which of the following have been mentioned by the author. In this type of questions, it's really helpful to go through the options first. Scan read the options, but keep in mind the question prompt. What I mean by this is, for example, in this question, which of the following statements about learning English can be supported from the text? The three, first, second, fourth and fifth options, they directly contain this word learning of English, and that's why you need not be so very conscious about what you're looking for. But in this question, language may hinder understanding of the subject. So what I mean, read the answer options with the question prompt in mind is, you need to see this option in relation to the question prompt. Which of the following statements about learning English can be supported? This sounds an easy example, and language may hinder understanding the subject may already sound to you like it is already related to the question prompt, but there will also be questions where you'll find the options a bit distracting from the main question prompt, and that's where you exactly need to be very conscious of. Okay? Moving on, next step that you need to do is identify the key words in the options. Here I have highlighted some of these. First option says, learning of English as a subject is the more difficult part. You're not going to check every option time and again. Just note down the keywords like subject, difficult, medium of instructions, understanding of the subject, etc. Once you do this, it will help you to compare these keywords in the text. First you will look for those keywords in the text, and then, I should probably explain this in the next step, but now problem at this moment, what all you need to do is note the keywords or the key points in every single option. I move ahead with the next step. Ask, does the option say the same thing as in the passage? Well, once you have found the keyword from the option in the text, read the sentence that includes the keyword and ask yourself, does this sentence say the same thing as the option says? Okay, if it does, yes, that could be your answer. Again, check the question prompt. If that is the answer to this question, you will obviously take it. Otherwise, if there will be many kinds of distracting information. What I mean by distracting information is here. Types of options. I should discuss this under types of options. What I mean is irrelevant information not given in the passage. Okay, your option list will not include all of the correct answers. It will have so much of distracting information within it. The most important and significant is the irrelevant information not given in the passage. Especially this is even more distracting in the context of some universal or social matters. For example, talking about development and poverty, there could be lines like, okay, women empowerment can help reduce poverty or something like this, which is obviously yes in the practical context, but these things might not have been mentioned in the passage. Even if you know, okay, this is true, yeah, this is the fact, but if that thing is not mentioned in the passage, you cannot say that this is the correct option. I hope that makes sense. Next is relevant information given in the passage but not true with respect to the question prompt. That's what I have been saying in this lecture so far, that the question prompt is really important and any option mentioned there must relate to the question prompt. Even the option mentioned there is directly from the text. If it is not with respect to the question prompt, we cannot say that this is the right option, and that's where most of the students get confused. So when you practice, you need to keep in mind that these type of options are there for your distraction. They are not there to help you find the answer. They are there to distract you. Okay? Next type of information, irrelevant information contradicting with the information in the passage. Well, when we are under the panic, and under stress during the test, what we normally do is just see the keyword and think, oh, this has been mentioned, this would be the right answer. But what happens most of the time is the information has been presented in just opposite manner, just opposite or contradicting manner. That's what I mean here with the contradicting with the information. For example, the option might say, this process is quite simple, but the text might include the word simple in this way, like, it may seem to be simple, but it's not the reality. You need to see how the sentence has been structured and what meaning it carries to be safe from these kind of irrelevant informations. And finally, the correct answer will be readily given to you. What I mean readily is either the synonyms of the words or the meaning, synonym meaning of the theme presented in the text will be there, or maybe an antonym, but the meaning will be same. The meaning of this option and the thing mentioned in the passage will be same, and that's how you will choose your correct option. So I hope the fourth step, that is, does the option say the same thing as in the passage, which is the most crucial step in completing this reading multiple choice, choose multiple answers. I hope you will be able to do this one. So that should be all about reading multiple choice, choose multiple answers. We should now move ahead to reading multiple choice, choose single answers. So the reading multiple choice, choose single answers. How does it differ from the multiple choice answers? Okay, in reading multiple choice, choose multiple answers, you will have at least 2 correct answers and you need to see if there are more correct options or not, and that's the difficult portion of that part. But here you will have just 1 correct answer, and the irony is that you will feel, oh my god, all of the options look to be correct. They seem to be correct. What is the right one? Well, there are a few tips that you need to follow in order to crack this type of question. Before that, let's move on to how it's scored. It does not have any negative marking as the previous one, where you would get a negative mark for each of the wrong answer that you get. It will give you 1 point if you choose the correct option and a 0 point if you get it incorrect. No negative marking, simple. Types of questions. So what are the types of questions and what's the difference between these questions and the ones you get it in the multiple choice, choose multiple answers? The answer lies here. The types of questions will mainly be related, mostly be related to the overall theme of the passage. What I mean is, accurately summarizes the opinion, main idea, central idea, main purpose, These are the things that you can only capture once you understand the overall theme of the passage. Read the text from top to bottom and then find out what is the central idea that the author is rotating around, and why has he mentioned so many words and so many things, and what is the main thing that he is trying to give you. Okay, these three are similar. One slightly different from those is this one. The main purpose of the passage is to compare, explain, suggest, describe, etc., etc. Well, here you need to understand the tone of the author. Is he trying to describe a process or describe a certain scenario, or is he trying to compare two or more options, like two or more countries, two or more rules, two or more generations, maybe making comparisons with two chronological eras, etc. Or he might also be trying to suggest that, okay, this is good and this is bad, or something like, okay, this has these type of advantages, certain process has this type of disadvantages. You need to understand the tone. This is one of the least practiced type of question among students that I have seen, because they are mostly rotated around accurate summary, main idea and central idea. Students do not normally practice questions like this, where they need to try to find the theme or the tone of the author. In what mood is he saying this? Why is he talking so many things about this particular thing? Is he trying to impose you compulsion to agree something, to compare something, to suggest something, etc., etc. So these are the type of questions, you really need to practice and train your mind to find out the tone of the passage. Next, a keyword or a phrase means. Well, these type of questions also appear in reading multiple choice, choose single answers, and they will relate to finding particular information about something. For example, that may be a process, that may be a place, or that may be some word or a phrase, that could be anything. You need to find the meaning of it. Or sometimes it can also say the properties of this keyword or phrase are, it is related to finding specific information. So what technique you'll uses, you'll scan through the text to find where you can find these keywords or phrases, and then you will check, is this the answer that I need? We'll discuss it in upcoming slides as well. Here I've mentioned it. Tip. The major difference between tackling multiple choice, choose multiple answers, and multiple choice, choose a single answer is the technique you use. As I mentioned earlier, in multiple choice, multiple answers, the first thing you do is you go through the option list. You see the question prompt, you go through the option list, you find the keywords from there, and then compare it in the text. But in multiple choice, choose single answers, if you do this, you will be surrounded by so many confusing options, because you don't really know what the text is about. So the first step you need to do is read the text. Do not go through the options first. If you do that, you're just wasting your time reading the option again and again. Firstly, go to the passage, read it from top to bottom, and get the central idea of the passage. Then you can tackle the thing. Instead, see, okay, that should be done. Do not go through the options first. Instead, read the whole text to get the central point around which the narrator is rotating. This is specifically applied to the questions like the first three questions: central idea, main idea, correct summary, etc. Okay. Now, the next tip that I have is, see the context of the options in the passage. Here, once you have read the passage and you get the overall theme or understand what the narrator is talking about, now you need to compare the options and see if the options mention the things that have already been discussed about by the narrator or not. If there is anything out of context, simply ignore it. But these are not very many, or there are not several of these kind of options. The more common type of options will be that are related to the passage. These will be like, some of them would be like mentioning the minor aspects of discussion. What I mean here is, there will be options which contain information from the passage. It will be a true statement and it might seem, okay, this is true. But finding the true statement and finding the central idea of the passage is a different thing. Whenever you are looking for your answer to the correct summary or the central idea, main idea of the text, it is important that you choose an option which covers the overall aspects and each and every single aspect of the text there. Even if a sentence is there which is directly from the text, but it does not include the main idea or the wide area that you can see in the text, then that cannot be your right answer. And this is the most frustrating type of question for most students, because they know, okay, this is here in the passage, but why it's not the right answer? Because that is not the main idea. I hope that makes sense. And choose the option which includes most of the aspects mentioned in the text here. As I just said, just because the sentence or the option there, it has been mentioned in the passage, it does not necessarily need to be true or the correct answer. Yep. So that should be it. It's not much difficult as compared to multiple choice, choose multiple answers. And when you practice a lot, you will definitely get it. One more thing that I would like to tell the students or anybody watching this video, that these techniques seem to be very tedious and you might think, oh, who has this much of time to go through these, to follow these steps? Well, take your time to practice. Take your time to understand these steps. Take your time when you practice, and then maybe you will take at least 10 minutes for the first question when you try it. Maybe next time you'll finish it in 8 minutes, maybe next time in 5 minutes. So that when you practice sufficiently, at least you can be able to finish one reading question in no more than 2 minutes in the testing. That is all about practice and preparing for your test. I'm not saying that, okay, I'm giving you this type of steps to follow and you will have to follow it instantly and get the answers done. It might take you a long time in the beginning, but I'm pretty sure that if you keep these tips in your mind and train your mind to follow these steps, you will definitely decrease your time of completion of these type of questions. Okay, along with this, now let's go on to the next section. Listening, multiple choice, choose multiple answers. You know guys, why I decided to discuss about listening section as well, because most students think that since it is a multiple choice, choose multiple answers, reading and listening should be pretty much same or similar. Actually, there are a few differences and we must be aware of these differences to get both the types of questions correct. Okay, so listening, multiple choice, choose multiple answers. What's the difference between reading multiple choice, choose multiple answers and listening multiple choice, multiple answers? Well, the difference lies in the technique you use and the type of question you get. You might think, okay, if the same question that you get in the reading text, if it comes there in the listening section, you might not get it. Well, reading might seem easy for you because you have the text right in front of you, but you'll have so many confusing options there to choose from, and you'll end up spending so much of time on it that you might not completely attend all the questions in PTE section or PTE reading section. But what happens in listening is, you might not have the text right in front of you, and you do that. You just have one chance to listen to the audio and select the answers. But the good thing is that there won't be so many confusing options there. There will be options that you can easily exclude, and that is the main technique of attempting listening multiple choice, choose multiple answers. What I mean is, see here, first the type of questions. You will most of the time get questions like, which of the following, maybe country, maybe element, maybe any other item, maybe any property, or maybe that could be anything, are mentioned by the speaker that follow a certain condition. This following of a certain condition is very important for you to know, and you can know this only when you get the question prompt in mind. Like I described in the reading multiple choice, choose multiple answers, the first thing you're going to do is, before the audio starts, you're going to have some time and you're going to use that time to understand the question prompt. And the question prompt will be something like this. Even within the question prompt, you will pay attention to these keywords, following what, and then the condition that has been mentioned there, because this is the most confusing type of question in listening multiple choice, choose multiple answers. This sounds confusing actually. It's really easy to tackle if you follow the tips that I'm going to say. See here, for example, in this question, we don't have a recording for now. We just have a question to demonstrate to you, which says, according to the text, which of the following countries has a poet laureate? There are, as you can see, 5 options, which includes 5 different countries. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that you will hear these options in the recording. It's not that you will not hear all of these words and you will only hear the correct options in the text. That's not the case. The speaker might mention things like, okay, Caribbean used to have a poet laureate, but it does not currently have it, or something like that in a more pronounced way. But the thing that I'm trying to say right now is, if the condition is which of the following countries has a poet laureate, it means the country as at present must have a poet laureate. And you will see that the speaker will mention or talk about all of these countries. He will say France, Germany, USA, and all of these countries. But listen to the fact that he says. He might say the USA does not have a poet laureate, or he might include USA, Ireland somewhere and not mention properly that these have a poet laureate. The first thing you need to do is understand the question prompt, and don't be afraid that you will, or don't be too very confident that you will not listen all of these countries or all of these options. You will listen to them in the recording and they will be presented in a different aspect or in a different perspective or a different scenario. They are not related to your question prompt or specifically to your condition mentioned in the question prompt. Okay? That's how you can best prepare for your listening multiple choice, choose multiple answer. The next type of question is, which of the following statements are true according to the speaker? Well, this is almost similar to the ones you get it in the reading section, but the difference is you will hear the recording only once and you need to be careful of, okay, which one is true and which one is not. So how do we do it? Here we go. How to crack it. Since this is a listening task, your primary objective is to listen carefully and get the things that the speaker is saying. You cannot be like, okay, I have questions in front of me and I need to read these questions. You just need to glance at the questions, but your focus, 90% of your focus should be on listening and trying to get what the speaker is saying. Listen and glance at the answer options. Instantly take the answer you get. For example, when I said there will be a list of countries or maybe a list of points that you need to choose from, once you find that, okay, this has been mentioned in the proper condition, take it instantly. Do not wait till the end of the recording because you do not want to spend much of your time in this section. And take your answer instantly as you get it. There's no point spending a lot of time after the recorder stops. Well, why I say this is because you hear the recording only once, and the details it asks in your listening multiple choice, choose multiple answers are very peculiar. If you get it, you will get it instantly when the speaker says it or mentions about it. If you don't, there's no point in wasting time because you don't have the text there or you cannot replay the audio, right? This is the trick to minimize your time in listening section and save it for the next part. I hope that makes sense. And that should be all, okay? So guys, that's all for today. We have discussed multiple choice, choose multiple answers for reading and listening section. as well as multiple choice choose single answer for the reading section. We would like to come up with similar videos with all of the portions covered in the PTE exam, but we would really need your support and your attendance and your contribution to make this thing possible, okay? Finally, my words would be, don't hurry up in booking up your test. Do prepare, take your time, take up coaching, find out your weak areas, visit us. We will help you identify your key points, your key areas that need improvement, and then we can help you get the desired score. For further information and enrollment at our institute, I am here at the Best PTE Center and we are located at 38 Curry Street. We will be glad to see you, to analyze your weak points and to help you get there. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time.